get the Hell in a Cell matches. Hold on here. Where's the preview? Right here. Hell in a Cell. Here we go. Okay. All right. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody to SQW 8. Hello in the Cello. I am Dolly, the potent portable Dimovsky. Joining me, JJ, the Mormonizer holder.
The dogs got rid of him.
The dogs got rid of him. And John SQW. Wait. And still the SQW champion, Jon High Def Kehoe.
Reigning, defending
SQW champion.
SQW champion.
Longest reigning SQW champion
of all time.
That's right. I love it. We're gonna have to have like a nice wiki set up for the show. How you guys doing today? How you guys doing?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Oh, much better now. Much better now.
Now that you're with us, much better. We have a lot of fun stuff to talk about today. We're just kind of going over the show in the pre-show, I guess you'll call it. And while we're waiting for JJ, I noticed there's always TNA drama, which we're going to cover. Talk about Hell in a Cell, a little bit of Goldberg v. Brock fun, and then a new wrestling TV series that could potentially be coming to the airwaves for us. But I want to jump in right away talking about Goldberg versus Brock, because this has been a storyline that has been, I guess, developing in the WWE over the last couple weeks, and they're really milking this. So
yeah,
really, it's like drip feeding us one little. Okay, anyways, I will let. Who wants to lead us off with the explanation of the return of Goldberg and the pseudo return of Brock again? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, there you go. You take it.
All right, so WWE and 2K Games released the latest edition of their video game series, and the cover guy, of course, is Brock Lesnar, and the special pre-order bonus character is Goldberg. And they made they've been making subtle jabs at each other, even in the advertising. Be like Goldberg. They even had those little teases of this match, and as part of the I guess the hype of this video game, Paul Heyman had some words to say about Goldberg. Goldberg went on ESPN and had a few things to say about Brock, and which led to a challenge being put down by Paul Heyman on behalf of one Brock Lesnar. And up to that, and including up to that point, I think the general consensus online was a general malaise about whether or not there would be a match and whether it would be something that would be worth watching. Then Goldberg came back 2 weeks ago, I guess, and to quite the stellar reception. Actually,
I'm gonna call it that.
Yeah, well, I mean, when Goldberg came out, like he was, they were
classic Goldberg,
legit chants of Goldberg. Everyone was cheering him. He hugged kids. He shook hands. He was as white meat,
kissing babies,
kissing babies.
That episode did have a ratings spike,
it did.
True.
And it seemed like the gamble of the rolling the dice on Goldberg paid off. Like he was, to me, it seemed like he was legit touched by the reception on the show. But to me, it seemed like it worked out well. It was a good, positive response online after that point. And so I guess what we'll talk about is since then. Last week there was the retort. Well, Goldberg said, you're next and you're last, meaning I guess this is Goldberg's last match for the moment, anyway.
Just a one and done type of thing, I guess.
Yeah, for his first match in 12 years, as he said. But then Brock's response on Raw was last week, and yeah, so he didn't really say anything, nor seem very interested in said match. And Paul Heyman, for the first time in his career, didn't really say much of anything. And the crowd, and they did all this in Minnesota. And who loved Brock?
Right.
rather than booing
As he
him.
walks out there in his Vikings colors on his T-shirt, like
Yeah, Suplex City, Minnesota or Minneapolis, whatever was on his shirt too, and yeah, it's just and apparently they were disappointed that he got cheered, considering how much Goldberg got cheered last week, and so Heyman was supposed to accept the challenge and move on from there with the crowd chanting Goldberg and Brock being annoyed, and it didn't happen. They cut the segment short.
Yeah.
Vince apparently, if you read online, was very upset that Goldberg or that Brock got cheered and the crowd was chanting Goldberg sucks.
Oh wow.
But this is the state where Brock made his amateur wrestling career out of, right? And it just made no sense that they were expecting that. I can't believe they thought it was a good idea to do that. Like, let's say Raw was in Atlanta, then you would have had like roars of Goldberg chants,
right.
But not in Minnesota.
Yeah.
What did you think of it, JJ?
It was hard to watch that promo. Like it got hijacked instantly. Like there was no opportunity for them to even try to save it. Like
no, none.
Like the fans started chanting Suplex City and Goldberg sucks right out the gate, right as Heyman opened his mouth, and it was just done from there. It was painful to watch. Like the show itself was already bad enough. Like it was not a particularly good Raw, but like that could have saved it. That's the reason I was really interested in seeing it, but it did not happen. That was rough.
Yeah, it was why I stayed up late. But for me, Raw doesn't end until like 20 minutes to 1, and I stayed up late to see what Brock was going to do, he
couldn't contain himself. He was trying everything in his power to not smile during the whole thing.
Yep.
He thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
He's like, I have to play the heel.
Because he doesn't care. Like,
no.
He's going to get his paycheck at Survivor Series no matter what. So
the match is set for Survivor Series.
Survivor Series, yeah. Oh yeah. And they announced the match formally on Twitter.
Yeah.
rather than on like their A show.
Oh yeah, when people are watching.
Yeah.
Oh Lord, it's so from my standpoint, this is how it all kind of went down. The first week, you knew something was kind of happening, and then they bring in Goldberg, and I just see my Twitter feed explode. It's like, oh shit, Goldberg's part. My friends, Goldberg's back. People are like, it's Goldberg. The magic is back. People are getting really excited. So I thought, okay, I'm turning on and I'm watching, and for the next week, and then it's been like, okay, so there's especially this week's was just woo, man. It's
it was rough.
It's rough. It is I guess it's as good as what the NFL is trying to put out too, right? It's you look at like the National Football League is so boring right now that the only reason I didn't switch back to the NFL to watch, and I stayed with how bad WWE was, or that promo was, is because the NFL was so boring. I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to watch Chiefs versus Jaguars or whoever was playing. I'm going to stick with this. So it's coming
right off of that Seattle game that I just had to endure.
Yeah, exactly. When you had to endure. I'm so sorry about that. But no, it's this could have been. This is supposed to be the battle of these two monstrous men, right? These giant wrestlers, all muscle. They're
match. The people that you're pandering to already saw the first match.
Yep.
And we remember the first match very well.
Yeah.
So, and we remember how very, very bad it was.
Mm-hmm.
So, those are the people you're pandering to for this.
We talked about that a little bit last week or the week before.
Yeah.
It's you have a guy in Goldberg who's nearing 50. He's got to be mid 40s at least, probably closer to 50. The Rock is in his mid 40s right now, so so he's not going to be as physical as he was. He might just be more of a brawler rather than a technical fighter from here on out. So, and then you have Brock, and he's getting up. It's a weird combination to bring these. Let me go off on a little bit of a tangent. The WWE right now is trotting out every geriatric wrestling star they have, and it's kind of weird and bizarre. In that now you're going to see who is it that they just announced would be potentially coming back, the tag team. There's a tag team that's rumored to come back right now too, like the Headbangers or something. I don't know who it is. The Headbangers, yeah. So it's like, man, all right, I'm doing a checklist of everybody from the late '90s, early 2000s, who people I thought probably died by now, and they're rolling they're literally rolling these caskets out onto the.
Yeah, I mean, it was within the last couple of years that we had the New Age Outlaws as tag team champions again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
it's one thing to sort of put younger talent over, but there's this in particular is not doing that. Like,
no,
like this is just two older guys. Like Brock at least is pulling in some money for like people want to see Brock Lesnar. I mean, I wanted to see Goldberg, because I was a big during that time, during his rise, during the streak, loved Goldberg.
Loved it. Yep, that streak was awesome.
Great. But it was the booking was fantastic for him and stuff. To an extent, you can go into the nuts and bolts of that booking and really pick it apart in hindsight. But now it's. But I'm just. Like I got to see him. It was exciting, but that is the worst possible match.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't know who else you put him against.
Yeah. Were you gonna bring out Shawn Michaels again?
Yeah. Did you see that whole?
Yeah.
thing? We'll talk about that. It's Shawn Michaels, but I guess that a match against Ryback would have been at least fun.
Yeah. Right.
Everyone was teasing Ryback to begin with, but at least that would have been a fun little not even necessarily a match, but maybe come out at WrestleMania, give him a spear and a jackhammer, and call it an afternoon. But a full-on match against Brock is not something really anybody wants. I don't think.
No, I mean they're hoping for a perfect storm of hype that'll cross both the video game, obviously, and make Survivor Series something important again because. I mean, maybe they don't feel that a 4-on-4 or 5-on-5 matches are going to bring it back to it. That's the whole principle of the thing. But whether or not they think that'll sell pay-per-views or subscriptions,
I'm instantly intrigued. I'm glad you brought that up because I was instantly intrigued that they announced they're going to this 4-on-4, 5-on-5 format again for Survivors because we talked about this in one of our first couple episodes that I missed it because it was such a unique way to wrestle, and here it is again. And they have team captains and stuff, and it just sounds like it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun. It's very classic style, very different level of type of wrestling, and I'm excited for that. And then they have to. I mean, they always did have kind of higher level matches as one-on-ones every once in a while, but interesting. I'd almost love to see a Survivor Series match where it was like the old guys versus their new counterparts,
Yeah. Yeah.
You have Goldberg, you have Triple H, throw in Jericho and the Undertaker on crutches, and they're going up against Ryback, and whatever.
Yeah, if a perfect storm would have created a sort of WCW Survivor Series kind of thing, Goldberg captaining, these guys were all in WCW with me. Kind of thing.
Yeah, man, that would be the WCW takeover that they tried years ago that we talked about. But that would be kind of a fun thing now to say, hey, these are all the WCW folks. These are all the potentially future TNA folks. These are all the different factions that came into WWE. Yeah. That could be kind of a fun event to take a look at, but who knows? We'll wait till they trot Ric Flair out again during the Royal Rumble at some point. It's hopefully they can salvage this thing because they're already losing it You know,
Yeah.
it's already.
It didn't take much, but like
No, right.
what took 24 hours for like people were still pretty kind of interested in like, you know, that was cool seeing Goldberg again, and then that promo happened, and it was like, uh-oh. And it sort of took the wind out of everyone's sails.
Definitely.
Totally did. But you know, we before that event happens, we have Hell in a Cell coming up this week, so I figured let's do another prediction because that was a lot of fun, and that was the way. Maybe that's the way we'll figure out who is the champ, the reigning champ, is to get these predictions right. So we'll go through the.
Let me get ready here.
Let me get ready. So I got these. I got the stats lined up here. We're gonna start with the predictions. We'll start off with the kickoff match, and we'll kind of make our way up. I think there's like 8 matches in total. The kickoff match is Cedric Alexander, Dorado and Sin Cara versus Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, and Arya Daivari. And so that's the kickoff match. I don't know Raw as much as I know SmackDown. I've become more of a SmackDown. I know enough of Raw, obviously, but I've become more of a SmackDown person. So I'm going to go first, and I'm just going to say I'm going to go with Cedric Alexander, Dorado, and Sin Cara because they have cooler names. So that's really all I'm going for right now.
That's a fair assessment, actually.
That's how my wife and I would pick horses during the Kentucky Derby.
But I would definitely agree that is the team to beat in that contest. Yeah, opening the match, baby faces win big, and an exciting match. So
they're trying to establish that division still, so that's a good way to sort of like, here's the baby faces that you're going to be cheering for.
Yeah.
So you guys think of the same thing?
I think. Yeah.
All right, that's an easy one to pick. Gosh, copycats. Next one. Oh, this is interesting. Bailey versus Dana Brooke. John, I'll let you go first on this one.
Okay, I'm gonna go Bailey on that one.
Okay.
Part of me thinks that they're probably going to extend the feud a little bit longer, but I think they want Bailey back up in the top slots sooner than later. Like whether or not she takes on, say, Nia Jax and brings her up another notch, or if she moves into a feud with whoever the women's champion is at the time, or whoever's not the champion.
Whoever's not a champion at the time, maybe. Yeah. Later on that day. Yeah. How about you, JJ?
I'm probably going to go with Bailey as well. I don't think there's any reason for Dana Brooke to win that particular match. It doesn't really. She's not going anywhere, and putting her over.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and you've got returning like. Emma's coming back? I think she's coming back to Raw and stuff. Like you're gonna have more females coming up too. So you're gonna need Dana Brooke as sort of that jobber to the stars, I think. At that point,
jobber to the stars. I'm also gonna pick Bailey for a lot of the same reasons that John actually said. I think she's she's gonna kind of move some people up with her, and then she's gonna go up to maybe the loser of the women's championship. But I think there could be some interesting things with her. And I think she's more of a name than Dana Brooke is. I guess I've heard more about Bailey than I have about a lot of the other female wrestlers. So
it's got young girls excited.
Yeah.
Which is a big thing. That's a big market that WWE's never had before. So
and she's Dana Brooke kind of reminds me of a very traditional, just from like a style and appearance and character creation design wise, is like almost a very traditional female wrestler, I guess you could say. I mean, there are like these traditional, I don't know, do they call them? I don't want to say design, but like outfits, and the way they're just set up is men and women. There are very classic styles of clothing and appearance and stuff for wrestling, and I tend to shy away from those. I like a little bit more of personality, and I think Bailey has more personality. So
absolutely.
Up next, Enzo and Cass versus Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. This is the bald beards versus the. Everybody in this match has facial hair, by the way, which is pretty interesting. I'm going to go first. I'm going to say Gallows and Anderson are going to win this one.
You think so, eh?
I'm leaning towards Gallows and Anderson. Yeah. Not for any super specific reason. I've seen a couple of their matches recently. There was just something that I think they're. I don't know. I think maybe they feed off each other a little bit better than Cass and Enzo. The Cass and Enzo do. So it seems like there's a little bit more chemistry, to me at least, with Gallows and Anderson, but I could be way off.
Yeah, I think Anderson and Gallows need the win more because they really couldn't be closer to rock bottom without being the vaudevillains.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they didn't come out of that New Day feud having done any favors for them, so. They probably need the win, and it seems like with Enzo and Cass, they seem to have cooled them off a lot because they were opening up Raw. They were in the opening segment of Raw like several weeks in a row for a while. They're getting huge pops, and I don't know what happened that they did down that they're just barely on there.
Their promo on Monday though is a highlight of that show.
It's always a highlight of that show.
With no microphones, that was actually really entertaining.
So, for my prediction, though, I guess I'll say, okay, I'll go. My head says Gallows and Anderson, so I'll go Gallows and Anderson.
All right, JJ.
That was. I want Gallows and Anderson to win because I really like Gallows and Anderson, but it really seems like that's not their job in WWE at this point to be a good the tag team that they're supposed to be. I'm gonna go with Enzo and Cass on this one. I think they want to push Enzo and Cass a little further up the tag division. They haven't been really top of the tag division in WWE since their jump to Raw. Like they've had some big matches, but they haven't really been in that picture too hard because so
I'll go ahead.
But it's a hard match to call because it can go either way.
Yeah,
both teams need that win, so
they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think that Enzo and Cass are ready to move up to the top spot until New Day loses it. And whoever that heel team is, then Enzo and Cass moving. I don't think unless New Day themselves turn heel. I don't know, but
speaking of which, the next match is the Raw Tag Team Championship: New Day versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Who wants to go first on this one? JJ, I'll let you go first on this one.
Because I want it to be New Day, I'm gonna say New Day. The storyline that they've got built up for Cesaro and Sheamus hasn't matured yet. Like if you want them to click as a tag team, it needs to be a couple more.
Sure.
Like a tag team title match can't be the match where they're like, "That's it, now I got it." Like,
yeah, I agree.
So I'm going with New Day. Please let it be New Day.
Yeah, same here. Same
with you. And then you know what? Same with me. So far, John and I had everything identical. I have a feeling it's going to start flipping. But the New Day is my favorite current tag team in WWE, and I just think their personalities are great. The stuff they do on social media and online is a lot of fun, and I think WWE is really pushing them pretty hard right now, and they're doing a great job by themselves. I mean, I watched their YouTube shows and stuff; it's great. But I think they're right on the cusp of being one of the kind of modern. I mean, they already are a fan favorite, but I think they're right on the cusp of being like the next big tag team champ that could last a long time.
And they're getting close to that record that they're touting. So, so beating Demolition's tag title reign record. So let them get that.
Let them get that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
At this point,
for sure. We'll see what happens beyond that. But up next is the Cruiserweight. You have TJ Perkins, who we've talked about, and Brian Kendrick. This is an interesting match for me because we've so Perkins won. Did he win the Cruiserweight Classic?
He did, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, he was a Cruiserweight Classic winner. And he was a lot of fun to watch through that. For me, I'm very curious to see if they're going to continue using that launch pad and to get the Cruiserweight kind of title, continue giving it more flavor through the WWE, through Raw especially. But do they want to have, should Perkins continue to hold on to this and kind of make it his own, or is it time they start to filter this out through the rest of WWE and start, giving it to other wrestlers getting the opportunity to go after that belt? So I think, to me, it's an interesting storyline because Perkins has had it for a little while now, and was a couple months now, I think, basically he's had it. So
yeah,
I'm curious. This one, I don't know yet. This is a tough one to pick for me, I think. What were your guys' thoughts?
You go, JJ.
I'm going to go with my gut and say that I can see Brian Kendrick winning in some sort of cheap way.
Yeah.
I think he deserves at least a token title run. Like, I really love Brian Kendrick. I loved him his first run in the WWE, and I'm glad he's back and is doing his thing. And I really and the character that they have him playing is fantastic. And I can see him, if he wins, it will be it'll be in a heel way. And I'm gonna go with Brian Kendrick for this one. I think it also opens it up for other wrestlers, because pretty much everyone's sort of established as a face for the most part in the cruiserweight division.
Well,
they haven't had time to develop their characters yet, but we know who CJ Perkins and Brian Kendrick are because they're the ones that have been on the last two pay-per-views with fighting over the title. So
I'm with you on just about everything you said there, but I don't think, as far as getting because the division itself is not over yet. And as much as I love Kendrick and I love his character and I love what he's doing and the motivations and the execution on Raw, at least, hasn't of the feud and hasn't been great. Like the way that they did it on the Cruiserweight Classic, I thought was a lot more grabbing by the heartstrings, And it's hard to do that when you're only peppered in on a 3-hour show, rather than getting full half of a show to tell that story. But on the Classic, but I think Perkins is as close as anybody is right now to being over in that division, and I don't know who he faces after Kendrick. Who does he face after that for the title? I don't know, but I think they need to ride Perkins until they find that right combination. I think so. So I'm going with Perkins.
Yeah. You all, John, you put up a fantastic argument for Perkins going forward. It was funny because I started off thinking it was going to be Kendrick. I thought, you know what, maybe I should just choose Kendrick because of the stuff that JJ said. Really good impactful stuff there. And then you had me kind of flipping, and I started leaning more towards Perkins. And then you closed with, I'm not sure who he would face next. I thought, that's why I'm going with Kendrick. Because I think there needs to be a rivalry at the top of this cruiserweight. Yes, I think Perkins is going to be over. Fans love, he's got, he pulled at the heartstrings. That whole thing did. And I think he's everybody's champ right now in their mind. But I think if Kendrick can pull this off, whether it's a cheap win or what, it kind of creates a little bit of rivalry. And I'm reading through the WWE's thing here, and they talk about him, desperate measures, desperate times. Can he complete his renaissance? I think it could be a really cool way to set up a good rivalry with Perkins, to have Kendrick win this title. Maybe not outright. Maybe there's some shenanigans, but I think that I have flipped to Kendrick because of that reason. John, you almost had me going to Perkins.
Well, while they try to hammer things out, setting up a rubber match is
yes.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Up next, U.S. champion Roman Reigns versus Rusev in a Hell in a Cell match. Which is interesting because Hell in a Cell used to be a lot more matches than just a couple of them. Everybody's favorite wrestler Roman Reigns versus everybody's favorite Bulgarian turned bad guy Rusev. I'm gonna go on this one. I was one of the few that was a fan of Roman Reigns early on, but for some reason I switched over to be. I think maybe just all the negativity got to me finally, and I became a Rusev hater, a Roman Reigns hater. So I've been leaning towards Rusev on this one, and I think I'm going to continue leaning on to Rusev on this one. Mm-hmm. Rusev's my guy. Rusev's my pick.
Man, Rusev is the man. Everything he's doing character-wise and storyline-wise.
Great.
Yeah.
He's
entertaining.
Really, really entertaining, and I really want him to win. I want him to hold the U.S. Championship again. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Roman is going forward with it, and moving on to the next the next guy.
Okay, good. John, JJ, I think you're thinking the same thing.
I agree 100% with that.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Roman's working his way back up the ranks right now.
Slowly but surely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They want him to be the guy, and they're gonna make sure. And I think a nice U.S. title run, whoever the next heel victim to the Roman rise to honor again.
Sure.
But yeah, it's definitely Roman is gonna.
Okay. Up next, we have the Universal Champion Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins in a Hell in a Cell match.
I'm gonna go. Well, if Roman wins that one, and I'm gonna go, and this might show my hand on my women's Hell in a Cell match, but I think a heel has to win one of these. So I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens to retain by some nefarious means.
Interesting.
Some heelish jiggery pokery is going to go down.
Jiggery pokery. I will also say Kevin Owens will retain. I'm going to
Kevin Owens too. I have no reason for thinking that. I just think Kevin Owens is going to.
I think that's probably the same with me. And finally is the women's champion. You got Sasha Banks versus Charlotte Flair. They added the Flair back into her name, by the way. Charlotte.
They did.
Yep. Who do y'all think is going to be the winning this one?
John already gave his hand away on that.
Yeah, pretty much. If she doesn't die, I will go with Sasha Banks.
I think Charlotte.
I also think Charlotte.
You do? Ooh, this is going to be the real belt changer here, I think. Oh my god.
It might be actually. This might be because this is the rubber match of ours. Kendrick Perkins, Rusev Roman, and Charlotte Sasha. I think those are the big changes we have, at least between John and I. But yeah, I think Charlotte because they're that Flair name. they're gonna start making a push, and they need to get her, continue getting her up in the ranks and stuff, and popularity wise, and get her name on more billboards. And Sasha Banks is she's a modern legend, I guess you could call it. She's a really well-known women's wrestler. She's done fantastic over the years. She's been in the WWE and before that. So,
to me, it just seems like that's the heels match to win.
Sure.
I feel like in this particular instance, this seems like perfect kind of have the heel win in the first female Hell in a Cell with the real question. The real question on that Hell in a Cell is what's the spot gonna be? Because I don't think anyone expects it to be something that you expect out of a Hell in a Cell, but I don't know what to expect out of that particular, but there's going to be if there's going to be a big spot, it will be out of that match.
I think so too. Yeah,
they're going to want to make it. They're going to want to push it hard, and I don't know if somebody gets thrown off the top of the cell, but
oh man, that would be nuts.
I think they're going up there.
Yeah,
they're
definitely going to go.
They're going up. I'm not sure if anybody's going to actually fall from the top of the cage. There might be like a, remember when Michaels fell off the side of the cage?
Yeah.
Kind of spot, or Vince McMahon did something a little less risky, especially if someone's going to whack on the table. I'm sure.
And Sasha, is just coming off of some injury stuff, so
yeah.
Right? Yeah. Of that match, that's what I'm most interested in. See how they make it, how they make it a moment.
That's the match I'm most interested in all of Hell in a Cell. I think that could be such a cool match. And by the way, isn't it great that it's happened in the past, but I think now, especially since the the kind of the WWE, the Raw and SmackDown split, then we now have Women Championship in a Hell in a Cell headlining one of the pay-per-views. I think that's pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, a real gimmick match, like not like a women's gimmick match, like
right?
A pillow fight or something.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, I remember those. Holy cow! Very cool. Yeah. So we have our choices here, the selections, and we will be. Please join us this weekend, this Sunday, as we're watching somebody. Hopefully, one person actually get a few of these right this time. JJ and I did not do very good last time. John almost swept the entire thing. But last couple topics here. Of course, you can't go a week without talking about TNA's woes. And and the last couple weeks have been it's almost borderline hilarious at how bad things are, especially with Billy Corgan. And now he's pointing the finger at the TNA, the company that he's basically the president of, saying that they lied about how much money, how bad things were, that he had to basically come in and bail them out like 2 or 3 times. And he, of course, revealed that, he said that he definitely said WWE it was trying to buy the tapes up, and he opened up a whole backlog of, a whole suitcase of things that were happening, which was really interesting to me, to the point where I guess from what I've been reading the last few days is that TNA doesn't have enough money to put on their next few shows. Yeah,
it's sort of like, because yesterday was like the preliminary hearing over all this. So a lot of news sort of came out, and TNA is dead set on saying we have the money.
Right.
We're worth money. We have the money. We would pay Billy Corgan back his money, but this lawsuit stopping us from paying back his money. Like, they want him just out of it. At this point, like, it's sort of.
Dixie is just being.
Just Dixie's being as Dixie as. I've been listening to a lot of.
Being as Dixie as she can possibly Dixie.
I've been listening to a lot of Jim Cornette stuff lately.
Okay.
So listening to Jim Cornette talk about his time in TNA was just like, it lets you realize, like, everything that you read about is true about what's going on in TNA.
That's
and it really sounds like the behind the scenes stuff of WCW, where nobody really knows what's coming day to day operations wise, and nobody knows who their
boss is and
stuff. And it's just it's painful, but like that nobody learned a lesson.
No.
But it's.
I'm honestly curious more than anything else what's going to happen to TNA. Something's got to happen in the next few weeks here, because didn't the Fight Channel or something said they were going to pick them up, but then that's been held off or something.
At this point, like, the lawsuit's moving forward, and once that's sort of decided, we'll decide the future of TNA.
Yep.
And it won't take very long. Like, they've all given their opening statements, explained their side, and now it's up to a judge now to decide: do you just hand over the entire company to Billy Corgan, or do you just buy Billy Corgan out at this point?
Right. Yeah. The Dahlia, you said they don't have enough money for more shows. They have taped their episodes right up until Christmas, I think.
Yep. So I think The issue is they don't really have much going. They don't have enough money essentially put aside for shows beyond
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's going to be interesting.
That's the story at the end of the year every year too.
Yeah, isn't it? It seems
True.
like right.
If you look in October, November of every year, it's like, well, TNA doesn't know what they're going to be doing after the first of the year, so they've clung to life this long. I wouldn't be surprised if they cling to life for another year out of this. Like,
well, maybe TNA should take the route as another brand new wrestling show that could be coming to TV. Nice segue, Dolly. Thank you very much. That's my name for next week is Segue Dolly. Variety is reporting that Fox has picked up the pilot for a comedy wrestling show based on the life of The Rock in a weird way. So it's the series it's created by The Rock and Will Ferrell. And it's going to be behind the scenes look at a kind of fictional pro wrestling outfit. I'm reading some of this stuff from Variety right now and some other sites. And it's going to be basically a relationship. It's set around a relationship between a specific talent and a comedy writer, a writer that's been brought in to kind of do the, create the storylines and stuff for the show. So it's supposed to be a comedy TV series. And it sounds pretty funny from that standpoint. But I'm actually really interested because I think one of the next steps for wrestling to really kind of hit mass appeal, continue growing in mass appeal, is the kind of stuff that, Lucha is doing great right now with some of the things that they're doing. They have it's almost like pure stories with a little bit of wrestling thrown in, which I think is a great combination. And if you can continue taking that, and now you're potentially going to have a full-on show on a comedy show on TV, meaning that's based around wrestling, I think is just a neat way to expand the genre and maybe even bring people back into other aspects of sports entertainment. Someone might watch that wrestling show or whatever it's going to be called and think, I'm curious. I might want to take a look at what's actually happening in WWE right now or whatever. So I'm looking forward to it, actually.
I mean, you want it. I mean, you want something like that to be good, but when you try to focus your jokes around one specific premise,
this is true.
Professional wrestling, and if you have The Rock, which is good, but 90% of the people involved in that show aren't going to know a thing about professional wrestling, probably. So it's. I
hope it's more. I agree, but I hope it's more kind of tuned to what Brooklyn Nine-Nine is like, because Brooklyn Nine-Nine is kind of an interesting take on a police department, and it's a comedy, and I'd love to see wrestling take a lead from that aspect.
Yeah, I mean the jokes themselves, they have to be more than just jabs at the wrestling industry. I hope they have to go beyond that, because it's a little bit of a niche.
Don't offend people that either watch wrestling or have been in a wrestling world. And you think The Rock would stop that part.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't offend the wrestling world. But it's kind of really, every time wrestling gets involved in any way, it's the jokes always come at the expense of the fans.
I hope the show is more about these two guys that just so happen to be involved in wrestling, and not necessarily about wrestling that these two guys, so I think where they focus it will be an important aspect, but it could be cool.
Was on that 70s show that one time.
Oh yeah. There have been some great cameos. Maybe we'll have to look at some of the
wrestling TV. Vader on Boy Meets World.
Oh man, Vader, big Van Vader. Yes, definitely. But we'll see. The pilot's been ordered, so they may not. It probably won't even be showing up till next fall.
There's that they're doing a Glow show for Netflix.
They are doing.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting too. Actually, that's been fully confirmed at this point.
That's coming. Yeah.
So that's kind of interesting one.
That'll be interesting to see how that pans out. I don't know who's involved in that anyway.
Yeah,
do I?
There's a name attached to it. I can't.
Yeah. I can't remember.
Gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. I know Awesome Kong is one of the cast members from a wrestling point of view, but there is who was the woman who's starring in it? I read
I
it.
can't remember.
Oh well, I'm sorry, but yeah, but it seems interesting. I mean, I think it's interesting that they're willing to push the envelope of the genre of wrestling and try something new. It's all anybody wants is something new in wrestling, and because the same old, like it's what Raw was last week, right? You know.
Yeah. Something that's wrestling related that the WWE certainly hasn't figured it out. Like you turn on the network and their wrestling themed shows are just okay. Well, you tried. Like,
yeah.
So then the Britt Baron, Jackie Tone, Allison Brie, and Mark Maron are kind of the major cast.
Okay.
And then you have Kimmy Gatewood, Rebecca Johnson, Kate Nash, Sunita Mani, Kia Stevens, a bunch of other folks on it. But it's kind of what I'm reading is kind of an orange is the new black, but looking at it like glow is the new black, maybe.
Yeah.
That would make sense. Is that if you're gonna
either way, I love seeing this wrestling kind of become a different, expand into other genres. I think it could be a good way to go beyond having it just this, you know.
You're getting really close to sort of that rock and wrestling sort of.
Yeah. But I think
you're starting to go into pop culture again, which is
there you
fine.
go, exactly.
That's a good thing for professional wrestling that it needs that pop culture.
Yep.
Thing. And it comes in waves, and hopefully it's better than the rock and wrestling kind of era.
Yeah, hopefully.
I'd like to see the wrestling part of it treated, somewhat smartly rather than just, it's big guys, it's big sweaty dudes or with chairs. I like to be a little more, smart about it, like for lack of a better word, and
less mark, more smart. Like
a little more sophisticated, I guess, than just grunting people fighting over stuff. Like Lucha Underground can do it, so can so can these shows.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that unfortunately is it for this week. We've put a good solid hour of wrestling mayhem.
A short one this week.
We did not. We promised a short one to each other prior to this taping, but we didn't actually say it during an episode.
Said
that's good.
It's not going to happen, and I was right.
You were correct. But we had a great time. Look forward to seeing what our predictions are for Hell in the Cell, which takes place this Sunday, and then more TNA drama and the Goldberg stuff. Chris Brock is really interesting, but we have much to talk about even on next week's episodes and going forward. So thank everybody for tuning in right now. I am Dolly, the Potent Portable. And when I say portable, because I've been playing portable video games, my handheld 3DS has been my lifeline over the last nothing beats a 3DS throughout the workday. When you're stuck in a meeting or a conference call, you just kick back, put your legs up, wait for people. This
entire week has been nothing but Picross 3D too. So.
Oh God, it's so good! And also joining is JJ, the Mormonizer holder. Thank you, JJ.
So my dogs were barking at Mormons before.
I love that. My dogs. I love the tweet you sent us.
Out there harassing Mormons.
The tweet that JJ sent us was, "Be right back. Dogs are barking at Mormons," which I thought was I'm framing that tweet. Anyways, JJ, where can they find you?
On Twitter at @the_J, _J.
And the reigning SQW champion, Jon High Def Kehoe.
I am.
You are.
I'm on the Twitters at Jon Kehoe. Pretty simple. JONKEHOE.
And you can find me at Dolly Demovsky. You can find us on sidequesting.com, on the YouTubes, and all over the fun place. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you on the next SQW.
Oof.